even when you feel low.
So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do batch scripting, and the batch script that we're going to write is going to be a script that will help us download data from the remote server or data online. I have found a Git repo that has data about English football, and there's several data in this repo. If you open these folders, you'll see a file here, CSV file here. This file is the one that we shall be downloading, plus the rest that exist in this repo. So if you open, for example, England, then I open 2010s, then I open here, I'll find lots of CSV files here. Yep. So this is the data that we are going to be downloading. So we are going to write a bash script that that is going to help us to download data from this repository. So let us begin. I have created here a repository that will contain our code, and I'm going to clone it here. So git clone that repo. So we can check that repository. It is terminal for data science. The link to that repository is in the description. So it comes with the license. I added a license in the repo and readme file, just in case I wanted to put more information about what the repository contains. But currently the repository is going to contain our batch script, and the batch script that we are going to write is supposed to just help us to download data from this repository, also these 4 folders, all the CSVs that are contained in these 4 folders. So I think we should begin. I'm going to use Nano. I don't know, should I use Nano or Vim? But I'm going to use Nano. So Nano, and I'm going to call it download football data. Football data .sh. So you can put any extension you feel like it's good for you, but it's for most programmers, .sh is a convention for a bash script. You could put any extension and it could still work, but whenever most people look at .sh, it tells them that they identify it as a shell file or a bash script. So I'm going to open it, and then now we are going to type our command here. So I'll begin with the appreciating these people who kept our who uploaded the data, because the data is not mine. So I'll just say data gotten from then I get the link to that repository, so that anyone who reads this script knows that that is where the data is gotten from. Yep. So this is how you write a comment in in bash you put a hash, then you put a comment. So let's begin by looking at these links. So I'm going to open one file and try to figure out how to look through the link to get the data. So I'm going to view it raw. So this is the file, and when you look at this file, this is the link to the file, but you can't see the link. I'm going to make this bigger. Okay, I'm going to copy this link to the file, then I paste it here for you to see. So when we look at the link to the file, it has a number here, and this number here iterates. It's a number that ranges from 1 to 4. We can confirm this by looking at the folder where the file is. This one is 1, but there is a folder, for example these ones of 2021, there is 1 to 5. Okay, so we can range from 1 to 5. So that means that this ranges from 1 to 5. Then we also have the years here. So this is a year that the tournament starts, and then this is the year that the tournament ends, and then the data can be from 1990s, but we can also look at the data here and see also there is 2020s, so it can be 1990s, 2020s, 2010s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. So that means that we're going to loop through also the decades to create all the links that we'll need to download the data. So I think let's begin. I'm going to use a for loop, and I'm going to first of all loop through the decades. So I'm going to say for decade in the decades, and the decades that we have are the decade of 1990, the decade of 2000, so the decade that starts in 2000, the decade of 2010, and then the decade of 2020. So this is like this is an array, or if you are used to Python, it is a list. So the for loop has has a syntax of for, then for something do, and then when you complete the for loop you write done. So for decade in this, so the decade, this is the variable that will take either this value, this value, this value, or this value. I'm going to tab here. It's not necessary to tab, but I'm just tabbing for visual, for you to understand where the blocks of code are. So for now I'm going to pick seasons, I think. So this is 1990s, these are decades. Yeah, so before I pick a season, I will define here a year. So I will want my years to increment from the value of the decade. So this is how we call the variable in bash. So the decade can be 1990. So if it is 1990, year will also be 1990. Later, when we are working with the loop for season, we shall see how we are going to be incrementing here in those loop. Then we're going to have the loop for season. for season in and the season should be in a range. So how to create an array with the numbers between in the range of two numbers. We're going to have 1 with the 2 dots and 10, and this means that we are looping in this array, and this array contains numbers from 1 to 10. So the for loop must have the do and the done. So what will happen inside this for loop will be, for now let's echo for us to see what's happening. So I'm going to echo the year, let me echo the decade underscore year underscore, and I echo the season. Then at the end of the season, before I close the season, I'm going to increment the year by 1. Year will be equal to, so if you want to do an operation, an arithmetic operation, you have to include the operation inside 2 round brackets. Then I'm going to do, the year should be the variable year plus 1, and this is also a bash operation. Okay, so let's see what this will be displaying. I'm going to comment out this part of code because this is not necessary. So put the hash there, and then Control O to save, and then Control X to exit. So what do I have inside here? I have download football data.sh. I'm going to run it. So to run a bash script, to do bash, then the name of the file, then when we run it, the echo will be printing the values that we have been playing with. So you're seeing we have 1990 underscore 1 underscore 2 underscore 3. So it is coming, should have echoed also the link. Let me go back. Let me also echo this link. Control X or Control O, enter Control X. Let me run this again. Okay, so we want something that looks like this. We are just trying to generate the link, and then it should look like this. So let's go back there and make it look like that. No, instead of echoing it with the underscore, we want here to have a slash, and then here is going to be a minus for this. So it is 1990, there is an S after the slash, so 1990s, then there is the year, then there is the minus, the season, then there should be something like a this one, I should call it maybe a file number or file. So I'm going to look through files here. So for file in this array, and the array we have seen it ranges from 1 to 5. Let's make it 10, not 20, 10, because we'll never know. Anyway, let's try up to 5 because what we have seen. So the 4 has do, and it should also be having done. Move here, done. Then I'm going to tab this in, then I'm going to put a slash here, and then eng.1.csv, not one. So this is going to be the variable dollar curly bracket fine, control O, enter, control X, and then let's run it again. Yep, so let's compare the output with, this is too long, the output here. So we expect something like this. So this is 1990s, this one 1990 is not incrementing well. Oh yeah, it is incrementing well. So this is 1. So we need to have this value. If it is 1990, 97, then the 2000s. Yeah, so we need to work on this part of the link. So we're going to go back to our bash script, and so in the bash script here, we already have season. Yeah, it is a season that we need to manipulate so that it can work for us. So what do we need to do with the season? I'm going to say that if, so this is a conditional statement, and this is how you write conditional statement. So if, then you have your logic here, then something. So if that logic is true, then something, elif some other logic is true, then something else something, then after that you close it with phi. So this is the beginning of if condition, if statement I mean, then this is the end of if statement. It has then, it has elif, it has then, it has else, but I will not use else because I want everything to fall in within a condition. So I'm going to start with the decade of 1990. So if this decade of if the decade is 1990, if that is the decade, then I want the season. Over indented. I want the season to be an arithmetic value. So I'm going to calculate something. So it should be 90 plus the value of the current season. 90 plus season, elif, I'm going to copy this. I think this is going to be useful. Paste it there. if it is 2000, then the season should just, we should just append, we should just put a 0 in front of the number of the season. So my season is going to be, season will be equal to a 0 in front of the value of season. You're going to understand what I'm meaning. In fact, let me save it and then and then I show you what I'm meaning. Control O, enter, Control X. So let's try to run this again. We have a problem, unexpected token fee. Let me go back to Nano. There's something that, yeah, this, then here, yeah, this should be inside, then if that, then this. So we're going to have this one here, then we're going to remove this. Close. Control 0, enter, Control X. Let's run again. Yep. So let's look at the 90s. Season command not found. Let's look at the 90s. This is line 11. We shall look at line 11. But when we look at the 90s, you see now, okay, it has not worked. Let's look at it again. Nano, if the decade is 1990, that's how we add it. Okay, so I can't tell what is inside line 11. Where is line 11? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. Okay, and the error was, so I'm going to stop using this because I'm going to open this in VS Code. Okay, then I'm going to compare notes. But do I really, assuming you didn't have VS Code, if you're working on a remote server, how would it be for you? Anyway, let's do bash scripting. If you're working on the remote server, you would enjoy the Vim OVS. So I need to understand, debug this, line 11, line 14. It was line 14. So line 14 is here, and it's saying season command not found. Season command not found. I can't debug this. What do they mean by season command not found? Is this everything? So for season in this, do, then we said if decade is 1990, then this should be the season. And if the decade is 2000, then oh, I've understood. sorry, I think I remember where the problem is. Let's go back here. Because we are doing bash scripting, you could write it in VS Code, but I want the feel to be like when you are working remotely, just on terminal. There should not be a space when you're assigning variables, and I think that was the mistake that I was doing here. So let's remove this, remove that. Yeah, Control O, enter, Control X, and then let's run again the file, and voila, we don't have that. So when we look at this is 1990 to 1991, 1990 to 1991 to 1992, so this is fine. Then it breaks in 2000 to 2001, also 99 to 100, this one breaks, and then 2000 goes well, and then it breaks here because we're expecting 2009 to 10, and we are expecting here in 1999 to 00. So let's fix that and fix the rest of the code. Okay, so I'm going to say here, if it is 1999, just going to fix something here. So this happens if it is 1999, if it is 1990, I mean, if the decade is in 1990. But if I'm going to write another if statement inside that if block to check if it is 1999, if the year is 1999. So if the year, this is year, equals to 1999, then what happens? If the year is 1999, then the season, is it season that we're looking at? Yeah, then the season should be 00. Then season should be equal to 00. Then we end if, where am I? Yeah, here. Then we end if, that will be the fee. So how does this code look like? Let's start from the beginning, because now it may be looking confusing. In fact, let me maximize this. Yeah, so the code looks at the year and picks the decade, makes it the year. Then we iterate through seasons. Seasons has from 1 to 10, and then we're saying if the decade is 1990, the season you're dealing with is 90 plus the value of the season that you picked here. And if the year is 1999, then the season is 00, because we are going from 99 to 00. Okay, then if the decade is 2000, we add a 0 in front of the value that we get here, but when it reaches 10 it should not add a 0. So we are going to say here that if the year $year equals to 2009, then the season, then the season will be equal to the season will be equal to the season 10. Let me just put 10 here. Yeah, yeah, then we close if with the fee and Control O, enter Control X. Now let's run this and see what we have. Each of this should look like this. So we have 1990s, 1990 to 1991. This is the first file, the second file, the third, the fourth, the fifth, then 91 to 92. So let's look at 99. So 99 to 00. Then let's look at 2000 and 2009. This is 2009 to 2010. Let's look at 2019. 2019 is here to 10. Okay, so 2019 should go to 2020, then 2020 should go to 2021. So let's fix that. So we have, if the decade is this, so if if the decade is decade is 2010s, 2010, then something should happen. We're going to have season should be equal to, no space, should be equal to an arithmetic and we're going to sum. So if it is 2010, should be 10 plus the original value of season plus season. Then if it is if the decade is 2020, it should be 20 plus the season. Yeah, so I'm going to copy this to the same thing and I'm going to paste it here, and I will say if the decade is 2020, I'm going to have 20 here. Then this is the end of the if conditions. So command Control O, enter Control X, then let's run this. So 2029 to 2030, that's fine. 2021, 2022, 2019 to 2020, 2018 to 2019. I think we are close to generating all links. I'm going to comment this, echo out. Then I'm going to create here a variable. I'm going to call it base link, and it should be equal to this part here up to here with the slash. That should be the base link. Okay, So if that is the base link, we are going to, and this is how our link looks like. Base link, then let's call this file link is going to be that. So the link will be equal to base link, and then file link, and these are variables. These are variables, and variables in bash start with dollar and dollar. So what we are going to do is echo the link, echo the link. So Control O, enter, Control X. Let's run this. The link is not well echoed. No. Scroll down to the link. The link is a variable. So let's do that. Dollar, curly bracket, Control O, Control X, run that. So by inspection, when I look at this, it looks fine. So let us start downloading the data. So I'll go back here, then I'll say instead of echo, I'll use curl. So curl is the package that we're going to use to download, and then I want to rename the file, so minus lowercase o, and the name of the file should be the same as the file link. So file link, and then the link that we are downloading from is here. So Control O, enter, Control X, then let's run this, and it has started downloading. Failed to create the file this. Okay, Control C. Is there anything that has downloaded? No. It is failing to create a file. So let's go back here. The naming of the file is not right. So instead of naming it the link, because of these slashes, I think it is causing it problem. I'm going to give it this part of the file as the name of the file here, and then it's going to be separated by underscore here and underscore here. So this is the name of the file. Minus lowercase o says that we are renaming the file to this name. If you didn't watch the previous videos to understand what curl is doing, you can watch them. It is in the same playlist as this video in my channel. You can just check data science, terminal for data science. So we are going to name it this file, then this is the link. So Control O, enter, Control X, then run this. Yeah, seems to be working. It's downloading some of them. I'm going to stop it from here, Control C, then I'll check. Yeah, we have some files, but I doubt if all these files are fine. So let's check the content of 1990 one, saying that the file is not found. But that is true, because if we look at 1990s, the only file that is here is a file from 1992 to 1993, and it is just one file in 1992-1993. So if we look for, we don't have 1992, let's run this and we see if we can get data from the 1992-1993 data. I think we should have like some minutes and see if we can get this 1992-1993 data. Hopefully we have reached 1990-1993. Control C, list. Yeah, so it is 1992-1993 1. So we're going to try to, instead, let's do head minus n3 of 1990, sorry, 1992, 93, and then 1. So you see this one has data, but there are some other files that don't have data. Like this one, it's saying not found. So what I want to do now is to I'm going to try to like delete the files if they don't have data, or if they show us that. So we'll try to curl it to download that file, then we'll check that file if it has data. If it does not have the data, we are going to delete the file. So I want to have the name of the file first, so let me just call, this is the link. I'm going to create another variable for the name of the file so that I don't repeat myself. So let's just call it downloaded file. Downloaded file should be equal to this value here. Then we're going to eliminate this and we use that variable. The variable name is downloaded file. Paste it here so we can continue using that variable later. So next, now that we have the downloaded file, I'm going to do the head of downloaded file. The purpose is to have the head, and the head will tell us if it is a 404 not found. So the head of downloaded file will be, I'm going to have my backticks, then I say head minus n1, just the first row, then for the downloaded file. So I'm putting that in a variable called head of downloaded file. So I can now do my comparison with if. So if the head of my downloaded file, it's a variable, so I'm going to have $this. If the head of my downloaded file equals to this text, and the text should be 404 colon space not found not found. If the head is that, then we are going to remove that file. Then we are going to remove, remember the command remove, then the variable that downloaded file. Then we close the if with the phi. Control O, enter, Control X. Now is the time to run this. So we give it some time. We can be looking at it here in this folder that we created, terminal for data science. Oh, it is okay. So let me first Control C. I have lots of CSVs that I downloaded before, so I'm going to remove them. So asterisk, this star is it's a symbol that shows all, like what was this term? I'm forgetting the term, but it's like a wildcard that basically says remove everything that has .csv at the end. That's what the command is saying here. So when I click, when I type enter and I try to list, I remain with only my files. I've removed all these other files. So I'm going to run this again, bash downloaded data. Then I'll be looking at my so you see it is removing them if they don't have data. This one is not also having data. This one does not have data, so it will add them. It will only leave the files that have data. So we are very sure that this one has data. We can try to open it. Yeah, so I have shown you here. Let them complete downloading.
I can hear the demons call when they do what they do, and now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through.
So we are now sure that we have files, all these files that have data. We can confirm. Let me try to open my VS Code just to confirm this and this. So all the files here have data. So we're in the next videos we're going to use these files, this data, to learn more about Terminal for data science and do more data science stuff using this data on Terminal. But for today we have learned lots of things. Nano download, let me just look at it from this perspective here. We have learned stuff. I want to go through them. So we have learned how to work with variables. This is how you declare a variable in a for loop. This is also how you can initiate, you can assign a value to a variable. This is how you call a variable. Hopefully this is visible. I'm going to make it as visible as possible. Yeah, so this is how you start a loop. It has the for, it has the do, and then when you complete the loop you write done. This is how you assign a value to a variable from another variable. Then we have looked at if statement. There is if, then elif, and then there is else. We could do an else statement, which I have not used. You can check it out. And then we have also used curl, which we learned from the previous videos. So this is a script that you can write that does your for loops and the if statements to download data. You can write a comment down there in the description and tell me if there is a way you could improve this script. But until next time, take care of yourselves and learn more about Bash and practice. In the next video we are going to learn about I think it is sed or AWK. Bye.
I just gotta get through, cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know